Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our multi-platform service for the Unitarian Church of Staten Island. We're so grateful to have you join us. For those joining in person, it's wonderful to have you with us. Please be sure to maintain social distancing, though masks are no longer required. During the service, we hope you will sing along to all the hymns and read along to responsive readings. Those attending in person are invited to join us in the parish hall for hospitality after the service through that door. For those joining online, we send special greetings to you. We hope you take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat box. After the service, you are all invited to a virtual coffee hour. A reminder that our visiting minister, Ember Kelly, has regular office hours on Saturday from 9 to 1 p.m. To schedule a meeting, please email Ember at minister@uucsi.org, and you'll see more information about that in our weekly newsletter. Weekly gatherings include our women's group via Zoom on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. with Kathy Santo, who is not here right this moment, but who is a good source of information for that group. And we also have a men's group that's not quite weekly, and Tom Saluga is the person to look for information on that, also not here right this second. We're asking you generally, online and in person, to support our social media outreach. Please like and share our weekly posts on Facebook. And remember, all of our services are on YouTube and you can like there. For those joining us in person now, we gently remind you to silence your phone or other devices. And now let us prepare for this morning's service. When I practiced our opening words, Robin, I found I was using a weird, fake, phony Irish lilt. I don't know where that came from. I was born in McCormick, but I don't know where that came from. So I'm hoping not to do that. It's weird. On St. Brigid's Day by Seamus Heaney. On St. Brigid's Day, the new life could be entered by going through her girdle of straw rope. The proper way for men was right leg first, then right arm and right shoulder, head, then left shoulder, arm, and leg. Women drew it down over the body and stepped out of it. The open they came into by these moves stood opener. Hoops came off the world. They could feel the February air, still soft above their heads, and imagine the limp rope, fray and fair, like wind-borne gleanings, or an unhindered goldfinch over plowland. I invite you now to join me in lighting our chalice. You can find the words in our order of service. We light this chalice in the search for truth and the spirit of love. We unite in worship and fellowship. As an extension of lighting our chalice, I will take a moment to light 3 candles for some of those who have recently been affected by police brutality, knowing that we cannot cover all of the names of those affected. We light a candle for the life of Artel Cunningham. It's not easy. Required juggling. Which one? The little red one? Yeah, I don't know. I thought I liked this better.
It doesn't like you.
It doesn't like me. No. There we go.
There you go.
It's just a two-handed thing. It makes it very awkward. Am I getting instructions? Ah. Okay, I'm gonna move to the small lighter. There's that. A match would be good too. Just seems like we've got a lot of things to choose from. This one's burning me. All right. This is a very solemn occasion, so I apologize for all the mishigas with the lighting. We light a candle for the life of Chad Hartley. And I will now light a candle for the life of Tevin Chapman. So explain this chalice flame. I feel like I need to light this candle too. I'm gonna do multiple candles. You need a good strong light. Again, for the light of Tevin Chapman. May these lights be a symbol of our commitment to continue the work of racial justice and to proclaim that Black lives matter. Please join us in singing opening hymn number 212. We are dancing Sarah's Circle, and that's in your gray hymnal.
Please stand and join us in the 212. We will sing all 5 verses and the intro to a single chorus. Get ready. And sing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle.
Now is the time in our service for joys and sorrows. If you're visiting us for the first time, this is a good time to introduce yourself. For those gathering in person, we invite you to raise your hand and then stand where you're seated. I'll give you the microphone to share your joy or sorrow. For those joining online, we invite you to type into the chat your joys and sorrows, and Sally will read them aloud. We invite you all to share what is in your heart. I was going to use this time to get general acknowledgement of all the people who worked on the event on Friday night, which was a great success. It's not the greatest time because it looks like a number of people are not here who I would have thanked, including obviously Ben, who did an amazing job, thought up this event, shouldered it, and but a lot of people helped. And so I hope people know that your donations and efforts and everything you did for the event before and during and after are appreciated, and maybe we'll take another time, another service to be more specific about that. But I do want to, I think Rose Kerr watches our services, and I wanted to acknowledge her contribution as co-chair of membership. She got Staten Island CCTV here. They filmed the entire thing. And so we have that to look forward to for those of you who didn't go, or even if you did go, at some point we'll know when that will be up and running and, you know, watchable. I don't know what channel that is, but it's now called Creative Community Media is what it's called, but it's one of the channels that you see church services on. So I wanted to shout out to her, but also shout out to Jen Corton, who made the connection for us with the Curtis Jazz Band, with the band leader. She's a member of this church and an assistant principal at Curtis High School. So two people I wanted to call out specifically, but generally it was an amazing effort. Many people here helped. Many people here came, and I thank you all. I hope we do it again. You don't have anything today, Ryan? I took your usual starting spot. Have a seat, stand up.
Well, there's just one, you know. I'm concluding my junior year in May, so I got 6 months, less than 6 months ago until I become a senior at my college. So that I'm looking forward to.
Do they have a jazz band is the question. College of Staten Island. We have to look into that. Anybody else on this side? Okay, let me come around. Yeah.
Hi, good morning. My name is Shunya. I just found a quote from this book, Nuta. It's the Swedish art of savoring the moment. But basically, I stumbled upon a page just last night while I was reading it, and it basically states, it's supposedly a Swedish proverb, maybe there's probably similar sayings in other cultures, but shared joy is a double joy, shared sorrow is half a sorrow. So I guess, whoever wants, I guess. Yeah. And I guess a joy, cardinals they come around in spring, right? Oh, they're here all year. Okay. Yeah. Well, I just saw two while I was walking out of the car on my work here, so I was like, oh, cool. So, yeah, the joy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, I'm Chris. So doubling down on everything Sarah said, but the only other joy I wanted to add to that was it was just such a joy to see our parish hall filled with people, which is what usually always happened here at the Unitarian Church of Staten Island when we had any kind of programming. You know, the room was filled. It was filled with Unitarians, it was filled with community folks, and it was filled with probably some Curtis High School family folks, but the room was filled, and it was just a throwback to when we did that all the time. So it was just great to Ben, the instigator, to kind of get us started and moving, and obviously all the support that he got, but that was my joy, just to see the place, the room jumping.
Absolutely, and Russell Smith, the band leader, said that he would definitely do it next year. I tried to get him to sign up for something else. This year, he's like, you know, they played every song they know, And they also found that to be very taxing, very tiring, because normally, you know, when they play school events, they play 2 songs maybe. And they played 7. Exactly, but not some of the, I mean, they were amazing players, but people he had standing up, a lot of them were 9th graders. Yeah, it's amazing. Well, Larry, come on, Larry, we gotta have you say things. Hello, or whatever.
Hello, whatever. Well, in case a lot of you don't know, my name is Larry Schwabacher. I've been a member of this church since '93, and well, you know, I'm still in rehab over this damn leg. Excuse my bad English, or whatever it's called, dirty French. I don't know. But I do have one thing to share. I had actually had a story published in a book. It's called The Writer's Block. And I'm working on other books. Also, with the rehab, the funny thing is I got into drawing now. So I've been looking at drawings of, you know, whatever. I mean, they're crude, but they're really nice. And so I have a friend at the rehab that we might try to start selling them. That's how awful they are, I guess. But other than that, I'm fine. I'm just frustrated. I'm still there. All right, Sarah, you happy now?
We're glad you're here. Thank you. Sally, do we have people online who would like to share? Thank you all for sharing your joys and sorrows, and for those held silently in your hearts. We're now going to pause for meditation. I will offer a quote to focus our meditation and then ring the bell. At that point, I invite you to begin the meditation with 3 deep breaths. After a few minutes, I will ring the bell again to mark the end of our time. Today's quote is by Courtney Weber. It's from Brigid, History, Mystery, and Magic of the Celtic Goddess. Here it is. Brigid's fire is akin to the soul's internal fire. As the flame that never dies or destroys, Brigid's fire motivates and leads.
This is a reading of a poem by Joanna Powell Colbert called Brigid at the Forge. Mine is the magic of the forge and the brewery. My brass shoes made myself, I made myself, and my bell of healing, that I hammered also, golden like the sun, milky like the dandelion. The first time keening split the air of Ireland was when I howled for my dead son, his skin so white. That was the first, but not the last. For me, plant the spring wheat. For me, catch the new lamb. For me, greet the speckled snake. For me, stamp your beautiful feet. For me, ring the golden branch. For me, pour out milk, sweet milk. I am the white swan, queen of them all.
Now is the time for the offertory. We know it is the gifts of all of us that help support our ability to thrive and to gather. For those attending in person, we are now passing around the collection plate. Note that if you like to pay in cash, there are little envelopes in the pews now. They've been gone for some time, but they're back. And put your name on them so you get credit for your pledge. I know a lot of people don't necessarily have checks with them. For those online, links and instructions will be posted in the chat. You can mail us a check or donate through the PayPal giving page on our website. Please give as generously as you can. Our offerings will now be gratefully received.
Our anthem this morning, Carolyn found a wonderful piece written specifically for St. Brigid, but the music didn't arrive. So we'll play a piece of it, and I'll give you a little background. Joan Simcoe, the composer, says, I discovered the text for this piece while researching the triple goddess, Brigid, for our Celtic ritual, Christmas Mass. The goddess triad archetype is found in many ancient Indo-European cultures, as well as mythology in Africa and Asia. Contemporary Wicca ritual heavily relies. I'm sorry, my old eyes, I can't see this. It's just everything she touches was written for Aurora Chorus. In many
What are you gonna do to what?
Okay, from the beginning. I discovered the text for this piece while researching the triple goddess Brigid for a Celtic ritual Christmas Mass choral presentation. The goddess triad archetype is found in many ancient Indo-European cultures, as well as in some mythologies of Africa and Asia. Contemporary Wicca rites rely heavily on ancient Celtic symbols, beliefs, and celebrations. I composed Everything She Touches for Aurora Chorus. In many ways, Aurora has changed many lives. The virtuoso piano accompaniment was scored with Signa Lusk, Aurora's accomplished accompanist, in mind. The piano plays the parts of the goddess, flying, weaving, touching, and changing the seasons of our lives. The extended chant at the end of the piece encourages feminine energy to rise. Now here are the lyrics. Everything she touches. She is the woman who weaves the night sky. Watch her go, see her fingers fly. She is the weaver and we are the web. She is the needle and we are the thread. Watch her go, see her fingers fly. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes. Number 1031, please rise. We'll sing three verses of this. First with the Okay, number 1031. First verse with the pronoun I, the second you, and the last we.
Kevin, Kevin, thank you very much for that wonderful music for Brigid. That was a beautiful piece. Carolyn did it. Good morning. A few weeks ago, when the Worship Guild met to discuss upcoming services, February 11th was in need of a topic. Valentine's Day seemed like an obvious choice, but for some reason, I thought of something different. I had been thinking about how much I missed the sun, how much I hated the gray days we were experiencing one after the other for seemingly weeks on end. I was tired of it. I have a friend, Ellen, who says that around this time of year, she feels God or the goddess doesn't love her anymore. I guess I was feeling that way. One of the 7 principles in the Unitarian Church is the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. So I looked online for a possible connection between this time of year and something about recapturing the warmth and love of the sun. And what came up in my research was Brigid. She is known by some as the pagan triple goddess Brigid. To others, she is Saint Brigid. As the triple goddess, she is remembered to this day from February 1st through sundown, February 2nd in the British Isles. The pagan festival is called Imbolc. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's how it looks on the page, which was later co-opted as the Christian St. Brigid's feast day. Based on a Celtic tradition, Imbolc was meant to mark the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. Now, just to back up for a minute, let's clarify who the Celts were. Originally, they were a loose group of tribes with origins in Central Europe that shared a similar language, religious beliefs, and culture. Celtic culture started to evolve as early as 1200 BC. The Celts initially spread throughout Western Europe, including Britain, Ireland, France, and Spain. Their legacy remains most prominent in Ireland and Great Britain, where traces of their language and culture are still prominent today. Getting back to the holiday of Imbolc, the earliest mentions of it in Irish literature can be found in the 10th century. Poetry from that time associates the holiday with ewe's milk, with the implication of purification. It's been speculated that the purification connection stems from the breeding cycle of sheep and the beginning of lactation. And the holiday is traditionally aligned with the first day of spring and the idea of rebirth. In pre-Christian times, Imbolc celebrations honored pagan goddess Brigid, who was evoked in fertility blessings and oversaw poetry, crafts, and prophecy. I mean, to me, in my mind, that pretty much covers everything. She was worshipped by the Philid, a class of poets and historians among the Celts. She was associated with wisdom, poetry, healing, protection, blacksmithing, and domesticated animals. Brigid was a very powerful presence in the pantheon of gods, of the Celtic gods. As the daughter of Dagda, the oldest god, she was often portrayed as having two sisters also named Brigid. Others viewed Brigid as one goddess with three aspects, not that different really from Christians who believe in the three aspects of God. Brigid first appears in a 10th century saga, which was believed to be the history of Ireland, a collection of various poems and texts. Myths about her say she was born with a flame in her head and drank the milk of a mystical cow from the spirit world. Inevitably, Brigid was recast into the Christian faith as Saint Brigid, and she initially became one of Ireland's 3 patron saints. Accounts of her life were written by monks in the 8th century. For Christians, Brigid was the patron saint of Irish nuns, newborns, midwives, dairymaids, and cattle. It is amazing how closely Saint Brigid resembles her triple goddess namesake, isn't it? The church claims she was born in Ireland around 453 AD, that she was the daughter of a Scottish slave baptized by St. Patrick. Remarkably, for a woman at that time, she supposedly founded several monasteries, most notably in Kildare or Kildara, the Church of the Oak. As the abbess there, she founded a school of art which produced the Book of Kildare. She was renowned for her agricultural knowledge, as well as for her charity to the poor and her compassion for animals. Stories abound of her healing powers, and she was a friend of St. Patrick, whose preaching set her on a course at an early age to become Ireland's first nun. St. Brigid is said to have died in 524 AD. One interesting anecdote about St. Brigid from a 12th century legend says the nuns of Kildare attended to a built fire in St. Brigid's honor. The fire burned for 500 years and produced no ash, and only women were allowed in proximity to the fire. The church's celebration of St. Brigid's Day is on, you guessed it, February 1st, to replace Imbolc. On her feast day, an effigy of St. Brigid of Kildare is traditionally washed in the ocean and surrounded by candles to dry, and stalks of wheat are transformed into cross talismans known as Brigid crosses. And the Brigid crosses have a triple dimension to them. But here's the thing. While informally recognized by 3 religions, the Roman Catholics, the Anglicans, and the Eastern Orthodox, she, along with 93 other saints, were expunged from the official list of saints by the Vatican in 1969. She is not canonized. There is, however, a St. Brigid of Sweden, but she is a different Brigid, no relation to our Celtic triple goddess. An eminent Irish historian, whose name I cannot pronounce, thinks the woman we now know as Brigid, as St. Brigid, might well have been the chief druid at the pagan temple to the goddess of the same name, and that she was responsible for turning the temple into a Christian monastery. So that may be the initial link between Brigid the goddess and Brigid the saint. Some sources say Brigid was a highly respected bishop during her lifetime, but she became a problematic figure for the Roman Catholic Church in the late Middle Ages. The church took issue with Brigid's miracles, how she ran her monastery, and the fact that a woman held the position of bishop. Unable to completely disregard her work and influence within early medieval Ireland, the papacy revised Brigid's history, giving her a more Catholic-approved face. Ultimately, of course, she was eliminated from the canon. Such is the fate of troublesome women. The modern celebration of Imbolc is done now as a means to reconnect with nature. Traditions from both the pagan celebration of Imbolc and the Christian celebration of St. Brigid's Day can be found in the modern Imbolc Day, held mostly in Ireland, but in other locations around the world. Celebrants sometimes make a Brigid cross out of reeds, as well as a Brigid corn doll or effigy. So Brigid does live on in the imagination and in the traditions that celebrate the return of spring, with its life-giving properties of sunshine, warmth, milk, and fire. Good reasons indeed to celebrate. For there is meaning in the traditions that celebrate spring, and there is truth in recognizing our animal and spiritual natures and their need for reassurance. I am grateful for the sun's return and nature's reblooming as Brigid stands radiant and powerful in the glory of her fire.
Turn now in your Theo hymnal, number 1068, Rising Being and Rise and Sing. 1068. In the 1068. How are you? Wasn't particularly familiar to me, but it's a really good too.
I invite you to join me now in extinguishing the chalice. The words are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. For these we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our closing words are from John Philip Newell. Sacred earth, sacred soul, Celtic wisdom for reawakening to what our souls know and healing the world. She loves the earth, models female leadership, inspires poets and musicians, midwives at new beginnings, and extravagantly embodies compassion and boundless generosity toward the poor and those who seek refuge.
Thank you so much for coming today, and